Alright, so we're going to go back and do what most everybody thought was pretty easy, but kind of underestimated because they forgot simple things on the quiz. So right here from your foldable, your center, we've got H, K, and for your radius is always R. This comes into play because your standard equation is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Too many people were just putting r squared, so if it was 49 here, saying that that was my radius, when my radius is really 7. Okay, that's pretty much all you need in your foldable for that. All right, so right here we have our center is at 3, -8, so we're, or sorry, -3, -8. So we're going to go right here. We're going to go -3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm right here. And this is saying that my radius is 2. So if I was to graph this, this is what I would have. It's a nice, simple little circle. You know, if I could draw a circle. Ooh, actually, I've got the shape recognition that I can use on this one. So we'll do that. All right, so say we're going to go ahead and go like that and draw our circle. All right. Now, if I was going to take this and put this into standard form, what I would need to know is I've got my equation is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, where that's my h, that's my k, and this is r. Not r squared, but r. So I need to take this information and I need to go ahead and put this into that equation. So I would do that by going x minus h, where h is -3, so plus 3 squared, plus y minus k, so k is -8, so plus 8 squared, equals r squared, which is going to be 4, because that's 2 squared. All right. Here, I've got my center at 2, 3, so I'm going to go to 2 and 3. My radius is 3 square root 6. So by now we should understand how to graph that, but you know, just in case we've forgotten, we've got to put in 3 square root 6 into our calculator, and we get 7.35. So that means that I would be going 7.35 in each direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.3. So there we go. All right. Now, in order to put this into standard form, we're going to have to go x minus h minus 2 squared plus y minus k, so minus 3 squared, and that equals r squared. Here our r is 3 square root 6. I need to square this. So that means that that square has to go to everything behind it. So that's going to be 3 squared and then square root 6 squared. So that's 9 times 6, which 9 times 6 gets us 54. So really what I have here for my standard form for my equation is going to be x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 54. That's it. So right here it says to use the information provided to write the standard form equation of each circle. This is where a lot of people seem to kind of get lost. So if my center is at -1, 9, so -1, +9, I'm right here. And if the point on my circle is at -6, 1, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up 1. So there's the point on the circle. So basically all this is saying is that from here to here, that's my radius. So I have to be able to figure out what that is. And in order to do that, that's where I'm using the Pythagorean theorem, where I'm figuring out my horizontal change, and I'm figuring out what my vertical change is. So if I've got these 2 points right here, and this is the one that's at -1, 9, and this one is at -6, 1. Horizontally, I'm changing along my x, so that's when I'm going to look at this -1 and this -6, and I'm going to find out what the difference is. So remember, my difference is when I'm subtracting. So I'm going to go -6 minus -1. It's going to turn into plus, and so that's going to get me -5. Again, I could do -1 minus -6, and I would get 5. It doesn't matter which one I choose, simply because I'm going to square it in my Pythagorean theorem, and no matter what, that gets me a positive number. So this is going to be my horizontal. So that's what this is right here, 5. And I could have guessed that by counting. I could have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then here I've got to do my y, so the change from my y. I'm going to take where I end and subtract where I start, and that gets me 8. So 9 minus 1. Again, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8. And just like I said, I could do 1 minus 9, and that gets me -8. It does not matter because I'm squaring it. So then I'm going to do 5 squared plus 8 squared equals r squared. So now I have 25 plus 64, which gets me 89. So now I know r squared equals 89. So I don't need to square root it because I'm taking it and I'm putting it into my equation for the formula. And that requires an r squared. So I've got x minus h, which I'm getting from my center right here. And so x minus 1, so plus 1 squared, plus y minus k, so minus 9 squared, equals 89. Way too many people didn't know what they were doing on this one on the quiz and left it blank. You literally could have just done all of this part on the left because I'm given my center, and you could have just left the 89 blank because you didn't know what it was, and you still would have gotten some credit. Don't leave things blank. Let's try it again. This one, yeah, I'm not going to graph it. I don't think we need that. We're just trying to find the difference in my horizontal and the difference in my vertical. So again, I'm trying to find from this point to this point. I've got to find this. So I've got to find the horizontal change and the vertical change. So if this is -18.6 and this is -16.7, I've got to figure out where I'm going here. So right here I have, to find my horizontal change, delta x, delta stands for change, you know, just throwing in some vocab there for you. -18 minus -16, so that becomes plus, so that gets me -2. My vertical change, so delta y, change in y, would be 7 minus 6, so that gets me 1. So the difference between 6 and 7 is 1. Hey, that makes sense. The difference between -18 and -16 is 2. That makes sense. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it into my equation for my Pythagorean theorem, where I have a squared plus b squared equals r squared. So -2 squared plus 1 squared equals r squared, where I have 4 plus 1 equals r squared. So So now I have my r squared is 5. So now I can take this and put this into my equation because I have my h, I have my k, because that was given to me initially. So now I'm going to go x minus h minus 16, so plus 16 squared, plus y minus k minus 7 squared equals 5. What if I asked you, what is my radius? And I gave you this, square root 5. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be, guys. We love to do that. Last one. So center is at 5, -3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So here's my center. My point on my circle is at -2, 3. So I'm going to go -2, up 3. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to find this horizontal value, how much that changes, and how much that changes to be able to put it into my Pythagorean theorem and get my r, which is right there. Yes, I could have gone the other way because it's a triangle, it doesn't matter. So my x, I'm going to take 5 and I'm going to subtract -2. So that becomes plus, so I have 7. Again, I could count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My y, I'm going to take the y values and subtract them from each other. -3 minus 3, so that gets me -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I'm going to put this into Pythagorean theorem, where I've got 7 squared plus -6 squared equals r squared. So I have 49 plus 36, and that's going to get me 6. That's going to get me 85. So now I have my r squared, I have my h, I have my k. I'm going to take this information and I'm going to put it in that formula that I should have down pat by now. I've got x minus h, so -5 squared, plus y minus k, so -3, so plus 3 squared, and that equals 85. Done. Alright, so now to do this one right here, this is the really easy ones, but I think you guys underestimated them and were making some really simple mistakes on your last quiz. So all this is telling me is to identify my center and my radius, where my center is hk and my radius is r. If in my standard equation this is r squared, I have to square root it to get my r. Don't forget that. So here my center is simply 3, -2, and my radius is the square root of 1, which is 1. Over here, my center is 1 and 0. Because there's nothing there, it's 0. And my radius is the square root of 26. I cannot simplify that, so I don't need to worry about it. If I could simplify it, then I would do that. Again, if you need help on those kinds of things, get with me and I will help you.